Hey, what's going on YouTube? So I've been putting quite a few hours into Final Fantasy XV and I have been enjoying it immensely. The game is great, the characters are great, the story is, well, moving along. There are a lot of great things about this game, but one of my favorite and most enjoyable experiences are all the allusions, references, and Easter eggs. There are too many to cover in one video, so I'll just be listing allusions Final Fantasy XV has to older titles. Number 1. Victory Fanfare. In previous Final Fantasy games, after each victory the game will play a fanfare. The fanfares were different in each main numbered game, but the main known theme was the same. In Final Fantasy XV, there is no victory fanfare played after each battle, but sometimes Prompto will sing the Final Fantasy fanfare. You can also hear it when camping, but that's not where the fanfare is usually played. Number 2. Chocobo Theme. Another Final Fantasy theme that has been used throughout many titles in the Final Fantasy series. Our man Prompto will sometimes sing this song, although it doesn't happen very often. In the English voiceover, he will have lyrics to his song, but the Japanese voiceover, he will just sing out the beats like the victory fanfare.
I want to ride my Chocobo all day. Ugh. Can't get it out of my head!
Number 3. Moogles. Moogles make their appearance in Final Fantasy XV as a plush that protects the protagonist in battle, and also as a charm which gives more experience when worn. In past installments, Moogles were typically playable characters, teachers, or a summon. Number 4. Biggs and Wedge. Biggs and Wedge are recurring characters in the Final Fantasy series, based off of Biggs Darklighter and Wedge Antilles from Star Wars Episode 4. Biggs and Wedge make their appearance in Final Fantasy XV as Arania subordinates. Like all of their other appearances in Final Fantasy, they only play a small role in the overall story. Number 5. Bloodsword. The Bloodsword has appeared in many previous Final Fantasy installments and is predominantly known for its lifesteal. The Bloodsword obtained in Final Fantasy XV also has a lifesteal property, although some of the older Bloodswords have other effects as well. Its description reads, "A blade once wielded by a warrior called the Dark Knight." This is most likely a reference to Garford Gafgarian from Final Fantasy Tactics. Gafgarian was originally a Dark Knight before the class was changed to Fell Knight in the ports, who used the Bloodsword against Ramza in one of their battles. Number 6. Balmung. The sword is another weapon which has been in a few other Final Fantasy games. It's one of Tidus' weapons from Final Fantasy X. It's also a weapon that's only usable by Dark Knights in Final Fantasy XI, 14, and Tactics. In Final Fantasy XV, it serves as the strongest one-handed sword in the game in terms of raw attack power. The class restriction property of the Balmung kind of carryovers to Final Fantasy XV in a sense, since Noctis can be considered a Dark Knight, coming from the city of Lucis, and is the only party member able to equip it. Number 7. Camp Runes. In Final Fantasy XV, when going to campsites, you may have noticed some blue runes that glow during the night. These runes allude to the save system in Final Fantasy IV. In Final Fantasy IV, each save point was surrounded by runes, which were used to ward monsters away, allowing the party to rest safely in their tent. In Final Fantasy XV, the runes around the campground can be said to ward off demons during the night, allowing our 4 heroes to rest safely. Number 8. Garula. Garulas are passive mammoths that wander the area of Duska in Final Fantasy XV. These guys are actually a boss from Final Fantasy V. This is the second Final Fantasy game for the Garulas to appear in. Number 9. Catoblepas. Unlike Garulas, these monsters are a recurring enemy in the Final Fantasy series, although they have gone through quite a few transformations throughout the previous numbered installments. The Catoblepas in Final Fantasy XV is based off the Catoblepas in Final Fantasy V, with both of them resembling a Brontosaurus with one eye. Number 10. Ronin. These samurais were also monsters that were first introduced in Final Fantasy V as Yojimbo or Numbblades. Like Garulas, Ronins were never brought back into the next installments of Final Fantasy until Final Fantasy XV. They have the exact same look and style from back in the day, with the exception of having a design on the kimono and also a string tied to their sword. Number 11. Magitek troops. In Final Fantasy XV, the Empire sends Magitek troops to attack Noctis and company. Magitek is short for Magic Technology, which was introduced by the Gestalian Empire in Final Fantasy VI. Magitek armor also makes an appearance in Final Fantasy XIV and Final Fantasy Type 0, with Gabrielle's Magitek armor closely resembling the Magitek armors used in Final Fantasy XV. Number 12. Machinery weapons. The auto crossbow, chainsaw, noise blaster, bio blaster, and the drill breaker were all tools used by Edgar in Final Fantasy VI. These weapons are usable by Noctis and Prompto and retain their attack properties from Final Fantasy VI. Number 13. Chadarnook. Final Fantasy XV recreates the possessed painting boss battle from Final Fantasy VI. In Final Fantasy VI, there is a painting of an Esper, which is Final Fantasy XV's equivalent of Astrals, named Lakshmi, that becomes possessed by a demon the heroes have to defeat. Final Fantasy XV makes a direct reference to this by using the same painting of Lakshmi and the same demon, Chadarnook, possessing the painting. The appearances of Chadarnook are similar with a small exception of his demon form. In Final Fantasy XV, Chadarnook's demon form retains a female figure with a few demonic aspects, while in Final Fantasy VI, Chadarnook's demon form will have a completely different appearance from his goddess form. Number 14. World of Ruin. The World of Ruin scene in Chapter 14 after the Star Scourge not so subtly alludes to the World of Ruin from Final Fantasy VI after Kefka's apocalypse. In both games, the hero wakes up in the future to find the world destroyed and filled with monsters. The World of Ruin in both games are also darker, have very little civilization left, and are controlled by the antagonists of the game. Number 15. Kefka Palazzo. Ardyn plays a very similar role to Kefka Palazzo, the main antagonist from Final Fantasy VI. They both worked under an empire and ultimately betrayed them in the end, allowing them to gain control of the world. Noctis also calls Ardyn a jester, most likely in reference to Kefka, since Kefka's character design resembles that of a jester.
Off my chair, jester. The king sits there.
Number 16. Zack squats. Gladios randomly does Zack squats from Final Fantasy VII Crisis Core when camping. Number 17. Junon. The player can find an item on display at Hammerhead's shop called Junon Super Engine Oil, and also a used Junon gear lubricant by the trash at Brabos Souvenir Emporium Outpost. Junon refers to one of the most technologically advanced towns in Final Fantasy VII, which would explain its name on car merchandise you see in Final Fantasy XV. Number 18. Great Glacier. You can find a freezer inside the shop at Cornix Station that stores the Great Glacier Cola. The Great Glacier is a reference to an icy area in Final Fantasy VII that Cloud and company have to pass through in their pursuit of Sephiroth. Number 19. Turle Paradise. A sign located at Medalcio Hunter headquarters read Adamantis Paradise. This is an allusion to the Turle Paradise pub in Watai Village in Final Fantasy VII. Seeing as to how Adamantois are reoccurring turtle enemies in Final Fantasy games, this is a pretty good nod to another part of Final Fantasy VII. Number 20. Weapons Monthly Magazine. You can find one of these babies at Medalcio Hunter headquarters. Weapons Monthly magazines were actually used in Final Fantasy VIII as a way to learn how to upgrade your current weapons, since new weapons couldn't be bought in that game. Number 21. Quetzalcoatl. Quetzalcoatl makes its appearance in Final Fantasy XV as a boss during Chapter 7, Party of 3. Quetzalcoatl only made an appearance in 2 other previous Final Fantasy titles, not including mobile phones. It was a summon in Final Fantasy VIII with the name shortened to Quetzalcoatl due to the game's character limit, and it was also a summon in Final Fantasy XII Revenant Wings. All of its appearances features a bird-like species, with the main element being thunder. Number 22. Alleyway Jack. When the player reaches the highest hunter rank, rank 10, the player's rank is called Alleyway Jack. This is a reference to Gilgamesh's alias in Final Fantasy IX. In that game, when the player reaches the highest treasure hunter rank, rank S, the player will learn that Alleyway Jack is actually Gilgamesh. Number 23. Ixion's Head. The head on Ramuh's staff is actually the head of Ixion from Final Fantasy X. Ixion replaced Ramuh as the lightning summon Yuna obtains in the game. Number 24. Knowing Tags. Dog tags in Final Fantasy XV served a similar function to knowing tags in Final Fantasy Type 0. Nothing. Just kidding, guys. Knowing tags in Type 0 were used as proof that someone existed, since when someone died, their existence was wiped from the memories of the living. Dog tags served a similar role in Final Fantasy XV to remember the fallen hunters in the line of duty. Returning the tags in both games will reward the players with items.
If no one comes to pick up a tag, it means that person died.
And those are some of the illusions Final Fantasy XV makes to previous Final Fantasy games. I hope you guys enjoyed this list and will make you appreciate this game more than you did before watching. If you have any illusions that I missed, feel free to share a comment about your findings. If you liked this video, be sure to hit that like button. As always, if you're interested in my videos and like what I have to offer, consider subscribing to my channel. It helps me out and keeps you updated with all the videos I put out. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you later.